What if you had the ability to know strangers by looking at their profile pictures? What if you could know what they're like behind closed doors by just reading into the poses they pull, the angles of their photos, or the kind of filters they use?
Oh God, I hate those filters. You can't tell who's hot or not nowadays, you know what I mean? Someone could be an absolute nine and you see them in real life, fucking uggo.
I know, tell me about it. Catfishing is on the rise.
Didn't you send somebody a picture of Priti Patel and say it was you?
Why would I catfish with the face of Priti Patel?
Well, I mean, she's an upgrade on you.
How dare you?
Profile pictures have always been a bit of a grey area for most people. Certainly for me, I can never decide what actually to set as my profile picture. So many of us decide on a profile picture because we feel it looks good, without thinking what signals we're going to be sending out with this picture. So, in this episode, we will be talking about some interesting profile pictures, talking about how to read hidden emotions on someone's profile picture to understand who they are when we're not looking.
Yes, and you can all use this knowledge to exploit Tinder, Hinge, Feld, Bumble, and all these apps to make sure you're getting the absolute best sex you can have.
Oh God, Dave, do you think about anything except sex? Jesus.
That's a good question. Come back to me on that one.
Well, Dave's not actually wrong. I mean, apart from the sex part. So, whether you've just signed up on a dating app, whether you're looking at an unknown profile of someone who sent you a random friend request, or if you want to decipher your ex's profile picture to make sense of where things may have gone wrong.
Right, so you're basically saying, what, to stalk your ex?
No, it's about finding the red flags and thinking about if we went back in time, could we have prevented all the heartache? And to make sure history doesn't repeat itself, we can apply some of the face reading knowledge to new people. And we can try to read into their emotions and see if we can identify their intentions, their real desires, their true natures. Because more often, that is written all over someone's face. We just need to know what to look for. So, we'll be analyzing various social media profile pictures to predict what's going on in a person's mind.
I think you'll see that once you start to look inside, that most people are hideously ugly.
Well, that's not true.
People are not good.
There are plenty of good people in this world.
Well, let's see. Let's have a look at these profile pictures. I reckon they're all going to be pedophiles and villains.
What have we said about using those words?
I didn't swear.
You didn't swear, but you have to be careful when saying some words. You have to be more sensitive.
Dave, you just see people as how you are. And we've established that in the last episode where we analyzed your communication style and your text messages. You impose your negative view on people around you, but it's actually you. They're all your traits, okay?
What, I'm a pedophile and a villain? Is that what you're saying?
I don't know. You tell us.
Bloody hell, I hope not, seeing as I'm a connection part of your imagination.
Yeah, you're part of my imagination, but you're not me. You're just the devil on my shoulder who's doing my heading right now. Okay. No matter what filter people use, what brands they wear, or how much they cover themselves with plastic, they are still a human being with real emotions. So their makeover does not hide who they are. It actually gives us clues about their inner worlds and what they are trying to hide or compensate. Having said this, face reading is very practical. It's all about using our common sense.
And Wedge, you're going to be teaching us this. Someone with absolutely no common sense at all.
Dave, don't be nasty to Suman. Why
Look,
are
Angelina,
you like that?
You're new to the show, okay? You haven't seen Suman in action. You don't know about her traits. But common sense is not something that she has in abundance.
Oh, that's not nice to say. Suman is a very intelligent young lady, and she does have a lot of common sense.
You just wait till the end of the episode and see if you think that.
Well, the good news is that nobody has to be an expert to read faces because our brain has natural face reading abilities similar to our fight and flight response. We know when something is safe or not because our brain tells us that. So, just by looking at a face for 30 or even 40 milliseconds, we have the ability to draw conclusions about people.
Interesting.
So the question you may be asking is, well, why do we make so many mistakes when trusting people? Why do we fall into their lies and manipulation? Well, the problem is we often get caught up in the bigger picture. We don't pay attention to details. For example, if you were going to buy a painting at an auction, you see something at a distance and you love it, but when you take a closer look, you notice some of the nuances. You realize this is not what I expected, or this is not what I want, or you could even notice that this is actually fake. Similarly, what we need to focus on is not expressions of a person, it's the flickering micro expressions, because these are always accurate.
Flickering micro expressions.
Yeah, flickering micro expressions. They're driven by our nervous system, so they're always accurate.
So if my eyebrow twitches, you suddenly know that I'm a liar.
Well, I wouldn't be surprised if you were a liar.
We already know that. We don't have to look at your face and analyze anything.
Exactly.
So that whole looking left bullshit is absolutely bullshit.
Yeah, because there's no research to suggest that there is a correlation between lying and eye movement. You have to know the person, you have to know the context of what they're talking about. You have to look at a lot more details than just their eyes.
Wow, okay.
I personally don't make a lot of eye contact when I'm speaking with somebody, and I feel like sometimes when I'm trying to maintain an eye contact, it distracts me from my thinking process. So if I'm looking left, right, and center, doesn't mean I'm lying all the time.
No, just you're a little, backwards.
And also, if someone is lying or feeling insecure, not telling you the whole truth, you should be noticing the subtle movements in their shoulders, hand movements, and lips. So, for example, shoulder shrugs, being too fidgety with their hands, or they've locked their hands and just have a very tight grip, or if they're pressing hard onto their lips. These places are where people will leak cues about their real intentions.
Fascinating. Very fascinating.
So the whole point of this basically is that you actually can judge a book by its cover.
Yes, but there's no strict answers, okay? Because face reading is relative. It's not absolute.
Such a woman science.
Again with the sexist remarks.
What I meant was it's about understanding people in a realistic and humble way. There's no definitive answers.
Right, okay. Let's see if this is effective or not.
So, are we ready to have a look at the first profile picture?
Let's see.
Let's see what it is.
The profile pictures I am going to be analysing in this episode are taken from the internet, my social media, people who have slid into my DMs,
Very interesting to know.
and anything that I found interesting on the internet. I don't have permission to use their profile picture, and most of them don't even know that we are analysing their pictures. So what I have done is I have tried to mimic their profile pictures. I have tried to copy their expressions, the angles, the lighting, their hairstyle to resemble these profile pictures the best I could. And I have set the cover photo of this episode with the pictures that we are going to be analyzing. And we are going to be starting from the top left and working our way through to the bottom. So from top left to right, and then left again, and then right. So the first profile picture we have, this person is looking up at the camera. They're standing sideways, so we can only see their left profile. They're smiling, but they're not fully smiling. So it's like a smirk. They've raised their eyebrows to the point they've got some wrinkles on their forehead. And I have found this one as well, which was quite similar, that Dave and Angelina can see. So what do you guys think?
I hope they're not friends of yours, Suman, because I'm about to tear them apart.
So what we're trying to establish is this smile genuine?
No,
Do you need an expert to see that this is not a genuine smile?
literally so not genuine.
Okay.
I cannot believe I'll say this, but I actually agree with Dave.
Yes, it's a sort of smile you do in the mirror to kind of be like, I'm going to have a good day today, but you don't really believe it.
Yeah, it looks very forced on the first profile picture because it doesn't seem genuine. It almost seems very nervous. Like
Mm-hmm.
I feel very uncomfortable watching it. It's like she is so much forcing herself that it's painful.
Well, the next time you see someone on your social media with this kind of profile, after I've analyzed this, you are going to reflect on some of the people you are friends with.
Oh my God, they're psychos, aren't they? You're going to say both these people are murderers.
No, but this smile doesn't mean that this person feels a lot of contempt. Not happy at all. In fact, very pessimistic. They have a negative view of the world and they're not easily pleased by anything.
Yeah, so basically they're a standard female.
Dave,
Where do you get these? Have you ever met a human
I just
female?
love making you two get so angry. It's like pulling a cat's tail. You know what's going to happen every time and you just keep doing it.
Angelina, just ignore him. He's just trying to fuel you up.
Well, Dave,
Feel her up. I wouldn't do anything so
I said,
disgraceful
no,
as
fuel.
touch a lady without her consent. Feel her up. My goodness.
No,
Suman.
I said fuel, not feel.
Dave, you mentioned cats. Do you know what cats do when they're annoyed? They scratch your eyes out. So I would give you an advice not to continue with that behavior towards me because unlike Angela, I am a seraphim and
Ooh.
they're very known to be very, let's say, unforgiving when provoked.
Dave, Angelina is an Aries, which is a fire sign. They can be very relentless and hot-headed. FYI.
Yes, they're meant to be incredible lovers as well.
Well, you would not know about that, would you?
No, I don't yet.
Keep dreaming.
Oh, I will be.
Okay, back to the profile picture. Our logical mind may often mistake half smile or smirks as boredom or casual snaps or looking like they're confident or assertive and just don't care. But actually, I'm going to compare them to the character of Sadness in the film Inside Out.
Oh my goodness, what a good film that was.
Yeah, it was a really good film. Their deep-rooted fear is being rejected. So they reject everything and everyone before anybody can reject them. So that's why they are trying to be casual and trying really hard to show that they don't really care, but they do care. And be careful if you are sharing something with these people. If you want feedback, they might not always give you constructive feedback and they might give you backhanded compliments, or they might be very subtle with their judgmental opinion about something or criticize something unnecessarily because they do have a negative view of the world. They don't always look at the bright side of life.
So, in short, that's Dave.
Well, I would say it's more told us that I'm very much somebody who gives hard truths. Such as like, God is not just love, Angelina, is he? God is also pain and suffering.
It is pain and suffering for evil people and devils.
What about all the good people who suffer?
Well, there's certain circumstances that happen. I think it's not God, it is humans that make each other suffer.
Oh, I see. So humans created all the diseases, did they?
Well, hygiene was not a top priority in the past, was it?
Okay, anyways, back to what we were talking about. So people who smirk and don't smile properly in photos to look casual, I would conclude that they're feeling quite lonely. Deep down, they're very disconnected with their own emotions. They feel inadequate and most likely they have a low self-esteem.
Excellent.
The chances are they're not going to be honest with you about their feelings. They are in denial because that's one way they can minimize feeling guilty about their negative view of themselves and life. So, how will you identify some of these traits in real life? How do they actually present themselves in person? Well, typically, they're very quiet, they're very passive, they keep themselves to themselves, they never ask too many questions or tend to contribute or push over anything because they're always afraid of being judged and rejected. That's their biggest fear. So they usually just shut themselves off, not participating in anything fully or wholeheartedly, and they don't communicate directly because they want to avoid confrontation at all levels.
Bloody hell, there's not much good about these people, is there?
If they can't give you a real smile, a genuine smile, then, what can you expect?
Really just decimated their character, didn't you?
Yeah, I know, but it's important to address the hard truth sometimes. Isn't it, Dave?
Yes.
But then we have to ask ourselves, why are they the way they are? Usually difficult childhood, difficult upbringing, some traumas, traumatic events. So I don't think it's really fair to judge a person who is acting like that because there's always a reason why somebody is behaving the way they are.
Yes, exactly. And that's why we are doing this podcast to encourage people to be more self-aware and be honest with themselves because nobody is perfect. So this episode is not trying to call people out or shame them for their emotions, but encourage being honest, learn self-acceptance. And we've talked about this in season 1, that identity is not something you have, it's something that you create. And what Angelina just said, yes, this negative view of the world around you and yourself, that is something which can stem from your childhood, or it could just be the situation that you're in right now. Your environment lacks support. You don't have a lot of meaningful or positive connections in your support network, and because of that, you tend to withhold emotionally from others because when you do share emotions, you are disappointed. Hence, you isolate yourself from everybody. Okay, let's move on to the next profile picture that we have.
Who's this? She's actually quite attractive.
Yeah, she has a lovely face.
Yes, smiles a little forced, but I feel there's some goodness underneath.
She looks like she's very charming and very happy in life.
Quite light eyes as well, quite bright, large.
I agree.
Wait, how old is this girl? Before I've been saying all sorts of things about her. I don't want to be in any sort of registry or offenders list.
I can't believe you're saying this. You're actually careful about those things. That's very admirable.
I don't want to be a bloody pedo, do you know what I mean?
Oh, Dave, that's such a good thing. I'm so happy. I think we're doing some progress, Suman. I think my presence here is doing a very positive impact.
No, it's not your presence. I've never been a pedo. It's not your presence here.
Well, you are a devil. Devils are known to
Bloody hell, I can't believe you've thought so lowly of me.
Well, what do you want me to think about you?
Well, I'm not a fucking pedo.
Well, that's a good thing. Oh, I'm so happy.
I think Suman's lost her will to live. Is all that going to get cut?
Okay. Do you want to know what I think of her?
Oh God, she's a bitch, isn't she?
Oh, Dave.
Well, the way Suman said it was like she was foreshadowing some sort of...
But she didn't use the B word.
Okay, what should I call her? A scam bag?
You don't need to call her any of those things.
Well, I didn't think she was, but
Okay, stop, guys. You're acting like children, both of you.
Well, yes, because I'm a very high being. I'm a seraphim, and he's just a devil, so just being in the same room with him is a little bit embarrassing. But
I'm such a high being.
No, you're the lowest of the low.
Don't get carried away, Sue, man. Go on, tell me about this lovely lady.
Okay. So, what bothers me in the picture is the evasive eye contact.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, it's like when you see children in primary school smiling for their photos and they don't know how to do it.
Oh, that's a good point, Dave.
If you take away the forced smile, so if you cover the bottom half of this picture, you will clearly notice how fragile her eyes look. When people smile with this childlike forced grin, with their eyes shrinking, and they may even avoid eye contact, that indicates vulnerability and uncertainty in their moods, which means it is highly likely that she is an emotionally immature person and psychologically unstable. So she's forcing positive emotions on her face to hide the instability and the struggles within.
Yes.
Talking about forcing positive emotions, I have another profile picture which is similar but different, but it's very interesting. Have a look. It is going to give you mixed signals. Here it is.
I don't really understand.
I think this is one of those facial expressions when you don't get what you want for Christmas.
It looks a little bit like it's a screenshot from one of my favorite adult videos.
Oh, for God's sake.
Okay, so this is called a frown smile. There's another example I can show you of Elon Musk.
He's a fucking strange potato man, isn't he?
So can you see the smile, but it's actually pointing downwards instead
What is that?
So it's called the frown smile. It's when a person is in disbelief, in denial, and they just hate being wrong. So they'll do whatever it takes to hold onto their self-righteous image. These people have accountability issues, they may have mummy and daddy issues, they will shy away from being vulnerable with you, from expressing authentic emotions, because they think that emotions are a sign of weakness or insecurity.
I know somebody like this. I know somebody with these characteristics.
What are they like? Are they a bit of a bitch?
No, it is somebody who has a red face and horns. I think you
Oh
know
my
this person.
goodness. My father, yes, my father. Maggot Bone the Fourth.
I knew you had daddy issues.
Yes, I do actually, to be fair. He used to beat me quite a lot.
Why?
I don't want to get into it right now.
Oh, I'm genuinely very sorry you went through that, Dave. I do sympathize.
Thank you. Maybe you see why I'm like I am now.
Yeah, but you can change if you choose to do so.
Absolutely.
Come on, we're on what, like 20 episodes now?
Yes, but I mean, I am 20 episodes, 1,000 years of being in hell. I mean, do they really balance out?
Okay, fine. I'll give you some more time.
Thank you.
How about this profile picture? So let's not worry too much about the smile. We're going to focus on something else. What is unique?
Head tilt.
Okay. Anything else?
Not in color.
Good point.
Yes, a tint. So why do people use filters? I mean, besides trying to look good, but what else can we tell about a person?
Okay, just a quick thing, by the way, quick side note. Do you know with dogs,
Yes.
when they do that, they tilt their head, don't they, when they look at you sometimes? And that's meant to be them showing a sign of empathy, trying to understand you. And it's kind of a submissive sign. So obviously what this woman's trying to do here as well is trying to show that she's empathetic and she's listening by tilting her head.
Oh,
Oh, that's interesting.
Welcome to Dave's Note of the Day.
Well, yes, I'm very impressed with your knowledge, Dave. I didn't think you
Thank you.
cared about those things.
Well, you have to care when you're trying to manipulate people online. That's why this podcast has been so incredibly useful, because it's shown me the error of my ways.
Dave, you can't use this information to prey on innocent people online.
I wouldn't dream of it.
Okay, good. You had me really worried there for a moment. So, this profile picture of a young lady casually smiling at the camera, making eye contact, her head is slightly tilted. First impressions, you think, oh, okay, nice and cute, attractive. However, we can see the head tilt looks unnatural.
Like a robot.
So she's trying to create a flattering image of herself, which could mean that this person is very self-conscious. She may even have artificial standards of beauty that she's trying to conform to find her place in the crowd. So by following a popular trend of taking selfies in this way, she hopes that she can stay relevant. So I think this is somebody who lacks confidence in being her true self.
What a sad, sad lady.
And head tilts in profile pictures, especially for a female, can be a sign of submissiveness. So they are trying to show you their feminine side, hoping they can attract male attention.
Well, I swear I've seen a lot of models, supermodels actually doing this pose when they're on the runway during their catwalk and in many magazine covers.
They're the people who hide, aren't they, darling?
Well, yes, well, it could be acting as well, because when you model, you're trying to be another person. You're trying to be attractive, I guess sexy. You're trying to give up this image of a very confident, seductive person.
And I want to talk about the tint. Usually in photography, a tint is applied to cover the whole picture. So it's trying to cast out anything that's uneven in the photo. So more often, people who use filters, which is pretty much 90% of the population, they're trying to hide imperfections, the instability within, to feel more in control of their image. And in reality, people who are obsessed with filters, they may be consumed by their emotions.
Yes, I think a lot of people do. I don't know, they put little airs and graces on to make themselves feel special.
Moving on to our next profile picture, which is this one.
Now that's a policewoman who's just found a young black boy riding home alone with no crack cocaine on him, and she's arrested him, planted some cocaine, and got a nice little arrest thing, and she's so happy because she's a corrupt policewoman. I can see that instantly.
Where did you get that from?
Well, that's what they all do, isn't it?
Well, actually, Dave, the point I was going to make is that she's an actress. She's not a real policewoman. So she's posting these photos from the set, from her makeup room, in costume, trying to show as if her acting career is going extremely well. She's happy and she's not a loser. Even though, as Dave pointed out, her desperate smile says otherwise.
Yes, it's kind of like a wolf.
There's an unspoken rule somewhere, I don't know where it is, where the society expects you to have it all figured out, you're happy, and you're not a loser. And not to forget this culture of celebrity endorsement, which says, if only someone approves you, then you're good enough. Otherwise, we feel like we may be forgotten. So that's why all these profile pictures, people are trying to force these social trends, trying to fit in the crowd. And when they're trying to be somebody they're not, it obviously will reflect on their face. And we've looked at, I think, 4 or 5 profile pictures now. Not one of them was a genuine smile.
Why is it? Can you ladies tell me why is it that things have changed? And if I see a lady walking down the street now who's not smiling, giving off contemptuous negative vibes, and I say, you'd look so much better if you smiled. Apparently that's not good to say anymore.
Because men like you, Dave, are going to misinterpret her smile and think, oh, she's asking for it.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, I didn't mean to make you so triggered by it.
Well, I think the other thing is sometimes you don't feel like smiling. If you have a bad day at work or there's private things happening, then you're not really in the mood for smiling. And another thing that Suman mentioned, sometimes a smile can invite somebody who's a creep.
Exactly. Now, next one, we don't have a profile picture because we are going to discuss why people sometimes don't have a profile picture. And what about those photos where they take a selfie, but they don't really reveal their face? They cover it with something like the phone, their hands, an object.
Scammers.
Yes.
Scam artists, I do not trust them. They scare me.
I'm so with you, Angelina. When they've got a picture of like a fucking cloud or something, it's just, no, it's not about that life.
It gives me bad vibes. It's like somebody on the other side is a complete freak or psycho.
Do you know what I mean? Don't hide your face under a bloody fedora. It doesn't look right.
Well, at the same time, maybe some people are self-conscious about the way they look or shy, so maybe they don't want to put their profile picture. So you can't really judge a book
Yes,
by
but
its cover.
I mean, if you're that hideous, then just don't go online at all. Nobody wants to see you. Do you know what I mean?
Yes, but what does hideous mean? I mean, beauty is subjective.
Well, look, if they're not posting a photo, I think it's pretty safe to say that they're nobody finding them good looking.
Well, Rob's got a similar picture like this. Look, he's not showing his face.
Exhibit A, exactly. Rob doesn't have a profile picture, and we all know what Rob looks like. 5'2", squat.
I've never actually seen what Rob looks like. Maybe I should check his ID and right to work in the UK and trying to see what he looks like, and maybe I should analyze that.
You really don't know how Rob looks like?
No, I've never seen him.
Oh.
He's either wearing a mask, those face masks, and he's never turned his camera on. He doesn't really have... Does he have a Facebook? Well, apart from catfishing one, I don't know if he has a real Facebook. I don't know much about him.
Believe me, I've seen him. You're not missing out on anything.
That's a little bit worrying. I mean, you never know who he might be.
Oh my God. I've never thought of it like that, Angelina.
And it's all been revealed. I am secretly Rob. Ha ha. No, of course not. I'm far too handsome to be Rob.
For a second, I actually believed you.
No.
So, people with no profile pictures or people who hide their face in selfies, especially the ones in the mirror, we've already established that they may be...
Loners.
Well, very introverted.
Mhm.
They may have trust issues.
Mm.
So if they're not taking a lot of space in the photo, they may be not easily willing to let anybody in their lives. They could be very protective of their self-image. They are closed, reserved, private. Why is that? Basically, if someone grew up with extreme expectations and unfair disciplines, their parents or their primary caregivers may be overbearing with high demands, and they were punished, overly criticized, judged for outwardly showing emotions and vulnerability. And no matter what you did, you just never were good enough for them. So because of that, they lack that capacity to be vulnerable and show emotions and connect with people. So not having a profile picture could mean that this person is an avoidant attachment style and they are afraid of self-expression in an assertive way. Oh, I forgot what I was saying.
What?
But...
Oh my God, you're so slow today. What's wrong with you?
Dave, don't say that.
I think she's been wearing her hairbands too tight. Or perhaps she's falling in love with somebody again.
Nah.
Well, falling in love is a beautiful thing. Love is the most important emotion in a human's life.
Love is a beautiful thing. Angelina. However, Suman normally falls in love with the wrong sort of people, don't you, Suman? You're normally getting catfished, aren't you?
Is that true?
She got catfished by our bloody sound guy, Rob.
Oh my dear heavens.
And, oh yes, Suman, so where is he today?
Dave, you know where it is. I don't want to talk about it. It's just going to distract us from what we're doing as well. So,
Oh, Suman, are you all right? Did something happen?
well, something's always happening when I'm with Dave or Rob.
Now, I've done nothing this time. Now, please tell our lovely listeners and Angelina where dear Robert
Dave, you
is.
know where he is. He's been suspended.
I know, but they should know as well. Say it again.
He's been suspended.
Now say it slower. Say it again and look in the camera. Say it slowly.
Rob has been suspended for bad behavior.
Oh,
Suspended? Why?
Well, Dave sent me a video and Rob was saying I manhandle him and some really nasty things about me.
That is disgusting.
And Dave was just sat there recording. He didn't even defend me.
Dave, I knew you were behind this.
Yes, I know, Angelina, but he's also a grown-up adult. He knew what he was saying.
yes, I think we can all agree on that.
Anyways, I don't want to talk about it anymore. I'm speaking with my lawyer and seeing what we do next.
Have you two ever made out before?
What?
Have you and Rob ever made out before?
What kind of a question is that?
Yeah, I just thought the lawyers should know. You know, there might be a conflict of interest there if you're trying to fire him, but you've actually been sexually harassing him.
No, it's always been professional, Dave.
Oh, right. Okay.
Oh, Suman, don't. It's important to realize that not everybody is the same. You know, there are plenty of good women, good men in the world.
Thank you. I keep telling Suman she needs to get back out there.
Yes, actually,
Spread
I do
her
agree.
wings and spread her legs.
Yeah. Oh, Dave, I just wanted to agree with you. Why do you do
I'm
that?
sorry. I'm sorry. I just couldn't resist. I do apologize.
No, without the spreading wings and other things, I think, Suman, you should definitely, when you feel ready, definitely go out there and you will find somebody who is nice and kind
And
and
to
honest.
any of our listeners out there who are looking for a date, Suman, I'm only messing around.
Well, the problem is now with all the work I've done in the podcast, learning about myself,
Yes.
what I will accept, what I won't accept. I have very firm boundaries and I have standards.
6 foot tall,
And I can
100K salary.
No, not those sort of standards. What I mean is that people just don't have strong values. They stand for nothing but their own conveniences. So they're not self-aware and they're not even honest about it. They're just, reacting to life, chasing trivial things that brings them fake happiness. And I just don't want that for myself.
I love that, Suman, because you know what? You deserve more.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, Dave, that is such a lovely thing to
Thank
say.
you. I do tease Suman, but obviously we've bonded. I mean, I've been with her basically her whole life, so I do want her to have a good experience.
Oh, that's so lovely. Oh, I'll definitely tell God about you.
Oh, excellent. Thank you.
Before we wrap this episode, for all of you history fanatics, I have a question. We have talked a lot about smiling in profile pictures, but do you know how the trend of smiling in photos came upon us? How did it start?
What, like back? Oh my goodness, I know something about this, right? So I did hear that in Victorian era, they didn't smile in photographs because the photographs took about half an hour to take. You
Yeah.
can't hold a smile for that long. But then I guess when photographs started becoming quicker, people started smiling more, or I don't know.
Well, that's a very interesting historical fact.
Thank you. I do have I have quite a lovely history.
Well, this is very interesting what Dave mentioned about the Victorian era, but there's also some cultural background as well. I, for once, when I went to Japan, I read somewhere that in Japan it's quite, it's not nice to show your teeth when you smile because it's considered part of your skeleton and it's not attractive. So you don't really see a lot of people.
Oh my goodness, that's why all the girls are always covering their mouths.
Yes, there is this thing, I think geishas, they used to put black paint on their teeth.
By the way, did you know that most
So
geishas originally started as men?
Well, I did read that in the past, not only in Japan, but most of Western society, you did not see many women in theater because women were actually banned. Shakespearean times, for example, many female roles were played by young men.
I think that I would have been a fantastic Juliet. Romeo, Romeo.
I think I would make a great Romeo. I have very good skills with swords.
I could see us doing a little movie together.
Does that movie have some erotic undertone?
It has no erotic undertone.
Are you sure?
No, it'd be pure Shakespeare.
Well, if it's pure Shakespeare, then absolutely. I would really love to do a movie with you.
Excellent. Suman, get on it.
So, before the mid-20th century, smiling in photos and portraits was not the norm. We've all seen those portraits of kings and queens looking really solemn, perhaps to appear more dignified, but also, as Dave said, to keep still while they were being painted. And only the rich and powerful could afford commissions and portraits of themselves to be remembered. But as technology advanced, taking a picture became very common. So people were taking pictures to capture good memories. So people would genuinely smile because they were genuinely happy. Now it's just become a social norm and a trend, and we try and force these positive emotions upon us, but it just doesn't look right because they are forcing those expressions. On the other hand, it's equally annoying when I see people trying to contain a smile in photos to look sturdy and cool. And I see someone doing this with their acting headshots all the time.
Yes, well, I think it's many different people look many different ways, and I think you'll see that in photos of young black men, they tend not to smile. Men in general tend not to smile as much. You women just give your smiles away like nothing, but I mean, we're a bit more reserved with our behaviors.
Well, then stop complaining that women don't smile.
You say that, Dave, but I also hear the male population complaining that we have a BRF face.
Oh my God, absolutely, yes. Well, it's a bit into if you're resting bitch face, you're smiling like a loonigan.
Yeah, so what is it? When we smile, it's not all right. When we are not smiling, it's not okay. What do you want from us?
Basically, some men, like Dave, blame women for everything.
Well, why is that? I mean, humans are such weird creatures. I mean, I haven't been on Earth long, but there's nothing like that in heaven, in the angel world. We're all nice to each other.
Well, maybe if we could all live in heaven, it wouldn't be like that.
Well, maybe, Dave, if you stuck to the rules of heaven, you wouldn't have been kicked out.
I agree.
Yes.
Oh, are you all right? Do you need a tissue?
Maybe we could talk over it. Perhaps we could discuss this more over coffee.
Yeah, sure. I mean, I don't drink coffee, I drink tea, but I'll make you a coffee if you want to.
That would be very nice, thank you.
Oh, well, to be honest, I'm actually glad because you two just constantly fighting is giving me a headache. So why don't you just be friends?
Well, let's have a coffee and see. I don't want to promise anything.
That's fine.
Okay, playing hard to get. This brings us to the end of part 1. In part 2, we will be talking about candid profile pictures. You know, the ones where you're caught in the moment looking perfect. We will also discuss what narcissistic people set as their profile picture and people who change their profile pictures every 2 hours. Also, profile pictures where somebody has a fictional character. I might be guilty of that one myself.